So this method, I'm just going to apply over a 6-2-5-1 cadence. I'm doing it because I'm working on in walk bud. But yeah, one of the things I like to do is, go through, and this just helps me visualize, go through the uh, roots and fifths first. So, there's the root, there's the fifth, and then there's the root, and there's the fifth, and then there's the root, and then there's the fifth, and then, there's the fifth, and then there's the root. So, what I started to notice is that, you keep the notes the same, descend, and then keep the notes the same. So that's just sort of a pattern that I started observing. I don't know when. I mean, whatever. Anyway, so then what I started to think about is doing the 6-7-2-3 exercise, but relative to the whether or not relative to the root or the fifth, whichever one I'm sort of close to, and this allows some amount of continuity, I guess you would say, instead of hopping around the scale. So yeah, so when you're in the A, the 6-7-2-3 is the F G B C. When you're at the D, you're at B C E F, and then it's just taking the bottom ones that would be here, and just putting them up top, right? And then here you do the same thing. And then here you do this other thing. You do the same thing as you did before. And then you put them down, D, E. So that's one of the ways that I found to visualize how this 6-7-2-3 method gets applied through the chord qualities. And then another thing I wanted to point out was this kind of interesting thing is, like, ultimately all this is moving towards resolving on the 1, the C major 7. So if you look at just what's going on with the 6-7-2-3, when that's the C major, and I guess we'll do it up here. You go here like this, or even writing out the chord, and then you have like that, and put it on the bottom, I guess. So that's sort of two ways to visualize what's going on there. Instead of looking at the 5, in the context of playing, this is what I'm saying is, like, some amount of simplicity is that look at just the 2 and the 5, or sorry, the 2 and the 1, and then sort of try to use your ear to guide choices that sound good, chromatics and whatnot. And this is where it takes a bit of time getting phrasing and things. But yeah, you can kind of see some really nice symmetry align, whether you're using this method, which is more, to me, I would say this is more melodic, and this method, which is more harmonic and vertical, diagonal. And then so here, diagonal, vertical, and then the horizontal bit would be connecting voice-led tones. So one of the concepts I was talking about was target notes. So one of the things I might first do when I'm trying to hear how all this might fit together is build sort of target notes, and I'll sort of go through the example. So I'll use the green here, and one target note path might be to play a G on the first chord. It might be then to hop up to the B on the second chord, and then descend down to the A, and then finally play the G. Now, I'm choosing the G on the C major 7 because it gives a sense of resolution. And then even though the G is my target note on the first note, I might start off with a C, right? Because I find having a more I don't want to say sensible, but I mean you can start on the G, but I find to hear I find sometimes my phrasing is a little bit better enclosed when I'm using, thirds, roots, and fifths to start and end phrases. At least that's what I was doing when I first started, really exploring some of these concepts. Okay, so that's the explainer, and then the next one I'll do is just some of the examples.